Hello, today we're going to look at the acceptable usage guidelines and user responsibilities, also known as acceptable use policies. But acceptable use policies in general are basically guidelines for staff, students, volunteers, or any other contractor to the county, and the appropriate use of county networks, devices, and educational applications. There's a lot of reasons why a school system needs acceptable use policies. In my belief, I think the first reason is obviously to remove the liability of the school system for any illegal or unsafe activity that happens, both on their network and with any of their devices. Second, is to, probably the most important one, is to ensure the safety of employees and students, and not have anything negative come through on their networks or on their devices that can harm an employee or student. And lastly, to define what exactly is proper and improper use of both online contact and digital devices. Looking at data, there's too much and there's too little. There's a lot of data on cyberbullying and the effects it has on children. But what I didn't find was I didn't find data on student plagiarism, and like how students misuse online content or misuse technology in schools. There wasn't enough valid data for that. The policy specifically for our county is Administrative Procedure 700, which is the acceptable usage guidelines, and that's for everybody: administration, staff, students, anybody coming into the buildings, parents, etc. Administrative Procedure 10101 is the student rights and responsibilities, and then the board policy 0115 is really just it's a page, and they just tell you exactly what the consequences are going to be. The administrative procedure for Administrative Procedure 700 can be found not only on the website, the staff portal, but it's also in the staff handbooks. The other administrative procedure, the student rights and responsibilities, is the student handbook. And then if you go to section 10, it has specifics on technology. So with Administrative Procedure 700, there's a lot of points to it, but some of the main ones is that it includes the staff, administration, students, or anybody that comes into the buildings. Users are responsible for any and all activity traced to their account, so you have to be careful. Don't give out any of your information. Make sure that if you lend somebody your computer, you've logged out, so that if they log in, it's different. The use of network devices, emails, are all county-owned technology, are subject to the guidelines. User information must be secure at all times. Don't share login or access anybody else's login information. Any form of intimidation, harassment, or bullying will not be tolerated. Accessing inappropriate material. Consequences, as outlined in the board policy, range from the letter of reprimand to termination to criminal charges. The student rights and responsibilities, again, Section 10, Policy and Procedures, is specific to technology and would be considered the acceptable use policy. The students have access to Google Apps for Education, which is available for them free of charge, and they can use it for any need that they have in education in the school. So that's really where students should stay. All policies apply to computing devices, networks, and any applications used for school. Access has to be within the firewall. I found that interesting. No promoting of hate, harassment, or any other type of illegal activity. Don't use anybody else's information. Do not post anonymously, which is interesting, because that anything could happen there. And then, of course, social media. While outside of school, or even if you do it while in school, social media is not in the purview of the county. But once anything happens that brings it into the school building, whether it be a problem or cyberbullying, it does become a part of the school system's purview. So the consequences students can be anywhere from the loss of the use of technology to disciplinary actions such as suspension or criminal charges. Just some tips and tricks I have. First and foremost, you want to make sure you see something, you say something. School tools are for school use only. Practice care every day. Practice makes perfect. Make cybersecurity a priority. Open discussions about appropriate online behavior. This should be an ongoing dialogue with you and your students. Reference the administrative procedures on a regular basis. They do update every now and again, so you always want to reference those. One other thing that I would suggest for teachers to do is, much like we do with other things, create a 5 or 10 bullet point list of of do's and don'ts that you can have posted around your classroom just to remind students of what it is, what is proper online etiquette, how to handle devices, how to handle if there's any kind of adverse situation that comes up. But it is bigger than us, and just remind students that they are to be digital citizens, and you're to model what it's like to be a positive, safe, healthy, ethical digital citizen as well, and that everybody's working together, not just in the classroom, but as we leave and we go out into the World Wide Web, that we are working and moving in safe and ethical ways. Thank you.